Hello, everybody, and welcome to the KY Sports Guys, a special edition here as we get ready to start the 2020 Metcalfe County Hornet football season. Coach Jay Hurt with me, the main man, the Stock Tony. How you doing?
Doing really well. Had an old school cinnamon roll. Got my day ready to get started. And honestly, it's been a long time since we've sat in this position talking to Coach LJ. It's time for Hornet football, and I couldn't be more ready.
It's exciting. You know, it's been a wild and weird past 5 or 6 months, and I feel like people have been fighting and scratching and clawing to try to make sure that sports happen, and we're not out of the woods yet. You know, every day you just hold your breath a little bit, but we are very hopeful that we can get some football Friday nights here coming up. And with that in mind, we're joined by two very special guests, head coach of the Hornets, Coach LJ Harbison, and senior Hornet. That feels weird to say, I have to admit it. Sawyer Edmunds. I can't wrap my mind around senior Sawyer Edmunds, but I'm happy for you, excited for you. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, always glad to do this show. I always look forward to it every year, getting on the show and talking to you guys about a little football, and hopefully we can get back to some normalcy with some football.
Sawyer, we ready to rock and roll?
You bet.
Coach, let's start with you. I mean, obviously, this has to be the most bizarre preseason, the most bizarre lead up to the season. How excited are you that finally maybe some normalcy can resume?
Oh, I'm very excited, and I told the boys yesterday when we ended practice, I mean, if you're not fired up for football at this point, then there's something wrong with you and you don't need to be playing. But this year, it's been one of a kind, and early summer when we got to start practicing 3 days a week, you just every Thursday when I left them for the weekend, I try to just promise them, hey, football's coming. You just got to trust the process, just do everything the right ways, and when it gets to week 10 or 12 in another season, some of those guys are looking at me just questioning what was going to happen, but they believe, they kept working hard every week, and coming to work for me, and that's all you could ask them to do, and finally they see the the light at the end of the tunnel. We got game week in 8 days. Those boys are ready to go.
You mentioned that. First of all, Sawyer, I want this question to you too after Coach, but you talk about getting ready for it. Coach Hurt talks about the differences and the abnormal way this practice season's begun. Can you give us some insight into some of the things that not only you, but all the teams are going to be facing this year have had to deal with practicing this summer leading up to this season?
Yeah, well, we started on August 24th. We got 7.5 hours of practice time in helmets. So we got to get the helmets on, and we treated it like a full-speed practice. I mean, the shoulders were popping instead of shoulder pads. I mean, we had kids getting physical because, you've been going against air, for 12 weeks. It gets kind of boring. So those kids were ready to hit somebody. And this week we got to put the shoulder pads, but, lo and behold, it's rained, 12 inches this week. So the field's been pretty messy, and, but we've got out there and put it in some quality work. But these boys are ready to go. Hopefully we get to put some full pads on maybe today or next week, just depending on how dry the field is. But that's going to be the biggest concern. We haven't got that many live reps. We've been going on air, bags, and then we've gotten 4 days this week into shoulder pads and helmets. How are they going to adjust to getting beat on 70, 80 plays a game? That's going to be the adjusting to, because those kids hadn't really gotten sore. Whereas when you start summer camp, you'll get sore for 3 or 4 days from hitting and banging. Those kids hadn't got that yet. So I think that's our biggest concern of what's going on. But other than that, they know the playbook. They're in shape. They're stronger than ever. We had max day right before we started full pads. A bunch of kids set new maxes. Other than that, they're ready to go. I'm just concerned with how they'll handle all the hit.
Sawyer, same question to you. As a player, I know players especially maybe sometimes superstitious. You have your routine you go through before seasons, before games. How's this year and this change in the routine affected you?
Well, everybody's been kind of wondering if we're going to have a season or not, and it's just been uncertain. And I think now that it's confirmed that we're going to have a season, everybody's kind of it kind of felt different than it usually does, because it's just, you don't know what's going to happen. But
sort of breathe that sigh of relief.
Yeah.
You're ready now.
Yep. Now I think we're ready to go. Set in.
Let me follow up with that, Sawyer. When you look back a year from today, what are going to be some of those bizarre, weird memories that you're going to take from the preseason of your senior year? I don't know if it's going to be mass, or I don't know if it's going to have to be, stretching 6 feet apart. What are some of those crazy things that you've had to do to make this season go?
Oh man, all that. Just having a safe space out from everybody most of the time, and just we didn't get to do like 7-on-7s or scrimmages this year, and everybody always looked forward to those. And had a good time, and it's just been weird.
Coach, let's talk about the fun stuff. Give me 2 or 3 things that get you fired up about the possibilities for success for Hornet football this year.
Yeah, we return a lot of starters. Offense, we returned 10 starters. We lost a wide receiver, and that's it. So we returned our leading rusher, leading passer, and our 5 starting O-line. So that's something to look forward to. On defense, we returned, we had a kid get injured, so now we have 9 returning starters. So we're going to be veterans. I mean, most of the juniors and seniors now, so that's something that we can build on. There wasn't a lot of putting new stuff in. Offensively, defensively, we're just fine-tuning some stuff that they already know and tweaking our playbook a little bit to make it better, and I feel like these kids have picked up on it. Another thing that fires me up, I think we're very, very good up front. I got some linemen. There's about 7 or 8 of them that's been with me now 3 to 4 years, and some of them even in middle school, they would come up and work with the high school team. That they're mean. They're the big uglies. We've talked about yesterday in our O-line, D-line meeting, we talked about how the UK's got the big blue wall. I want to start the big maroon wall.
Coach, you talked about that on these interviews when we go pregame and preseason even about your line. You've talked about it for years now about how they're growing as a unit. We watch a game and you listen to a game and you hear where the ball goes. We so often forget about those 5 guys up front pushing against the other guys. How much stronger? Can you quantify? Can you give us some examples of how much stronger and more cohesive these guys have gotten over the last couple of years?
Oh, for sure. Well, we have 8 guys that's going to rotate offense, defensive line. All of them weigh over 235. That's not been done in a long, long time. Got a couple guys over 260, and they can all still move. There's not a difference of them within 10 yards. I went back down to coaching the O-line, D-line position this year, and I've loved it because we've just been working in short bursts. But those guys also, they all bench at least 255 on the bench and incline. All right, that's phenomenal at the high school level, and they all squat over 400. So that's unreal for 8 linemen that you can just swap in at any position. I'm talking center, guard, to tackle. They can all play all 3, and they can all play in, nose tackle, and the D tackle position. So that's something that we are interchangeable. About 8 guys that can roll deep. So we'll feel real comfortable up front.
And that's that football intelligence that these guys have grown into. That again, it makes it look simple, but it's not. They're scheming and stuff. And those guys are really getting it if you can interchange like that.
Oh, for sure. And what we've been working on here lately is being mean. And those freshmen, boy, they've taken some beatings this last couple of days because if they're not pancaking somebody, they're getting chewed out by me. Because when you got a veteran front and you're bigger and stronger than everybody, we've got to develop a little mentality up front to go whip somebody's butt. So hopefully we've been doing that over the last couple of days.
Tell me a little bit about the first game opponent. Do you know a thing yet, or we're just going in and concentrating more on us?
Concentrate more on us. They have a second-year head coach, so I've been kind of watching what they did last couple games, and just getting an idea. That way we can scout, not get surprised by any formation they've thrown out. So we'll be prepared defensively. Offensively, when we're on offense and they're on defense, I feel like they'll do the same thing they did. They run a 4-4, went to cover 3, man-to-man look. So more or less what you said, we're going to take care of our part, but we'll have the boys prepared at a couple different looks that they might throw at us. But, if something happens, we're trying to keep the playbook on defensively and offensively and special teams just as simple as possible, so we line up and we go. We play football, have a little fun, and get back to, the kids getting back to a little normalcy and have a little fun.
Sawyer, I have to ask, when it's all said and done for you and you look back, what will make this season successful? Do you have individual goals? Do you have team goals that you're wanting to achieve this year?
First goal is always to win district at least, Maybe go further than that if it dice roll that way. But,
Can I put you down for 40, 50 catches? Is that what we're looking at?
I hope so.
Just shoot for the stars, man. Shoot for the stars. Let me ask you this. Let me rephrase it. How excited are you to get out there and be a little physical with somebody and not your own teammate, somebody from the other team?
I'm really excited. You get deprived of it.
Yeah, that's right.
How it's been the past month or two, and it don't feel like real football, and you're ready to go.
I hear Coach LJ talking about the freshmen, and if they're not doing what they need to, he's getting on them. You're a senior now. You're a leader. How are you taking that leadership role, helping those younger guys?
Just try to help them if I know more on the subject and they're struggling or something like that. They're not in somewhere they're supposed to be. Just give them, hey, you need to do this. Just try to help out if I can.
Coach, do you worry at all? I know energy in football is big. You got to have energy. Do you worry at all that we're going to be so fired up that maybe 2 or 3 plays in and then it's just like, whoo?
I mean, I hadn't really thought about that. I mean, I know
something else to worry about.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm good for.
I know these kids are going to be fired up, and we're still uncertain about the crowd and the situation. But those kids be ready, and hopefully they're not too fired up like you say. But I think they've all been there. They're all juniors and seniors and sophomores that's played a little football. So we've got a few guys that are captains that know how that's played some football in their life, that know to calm it down a little bit and get ready to go.
Can I add this? And I don't want to hoard the whole interview here, but talk a little bit. I know you focus on just one game. One game's all you get at a time. But the schedule, because of the situation, has been tweaked a little bit and turned a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about how that worked?
Yeah. So we dropped the first 3 games of the season. We opened up with what would have been our week 4 opponent, or 4th game, and that's who we're going to open up. We've moved Barron County from the first game of the year, and we put them on because the Kentucky High School Athletic Association gave us an extra week. We put them in November 6th, so we'll still go there. So we've lost Breckenridge County and Russell County, so we will not be playing those games. We're going to play 8. A lot of teams are going to play fall break. We had about 10 to 12 families going off on vacations they already planned to reschedule from the COVID and spring break or summer break, whatever it may be. So I didn't want to put them in a predicament to, cancel those plans or whatever it may be. So we're going to take fall break off and just practice a few days at a time. But we will be playing 8 games, so we'll see how it goes.
Coach, we always talk about the crowd. You mentioned the uncertainty of the crowd. Is there anything, if you can't make it out, we hope you're listening here, is there anything those people who are in the radio audience can do through the week to help your team, maybe help show that they're behind these guys on your team?
Yeah, I mean, if you see a guy out, give him some love. If anything else, just always be wearing your maroon. Tune into the sports guys, or come up to the game next Friday night on the 11th at 7 o'clock, and pack the heel. Whatever you can do for these young men, just encourage them along. They love those things. Build these young men up so they can be successful in any way possible.
Coach, I appreciate it very much. I'm excited to have the season start. You talk about attendance, and obviously there are going to be restrictions. And for everybody that's listening to this, we love you, and we love the support that you give to these guys. Bear with us. Be patient. We're not going to be able to get 100% in, but we're going to try to get as many as we can in. When you come, there's going to be some hassle to it. There's no other way to put it, but be patient with us. We want you to get out and be able to support these guys. I know they do too. And if you can't make it out, 99.1 The Hoss, Channel 95, YouTube channel, we're going to have it for you so that you can make sure that you can support Coach LJ and Sawyer and all the guys. I'm excited about the season. I really do. I think it's going to be a tremendous success. And I know one way or the other, Coach, you guys always play hard. It's a family that you put together. I know that's your philosophy, and I'm really proud of the work that you're doing. Thank y'all for joining us and talking to us a little bit.
Yeah, thank y'all.